always do it on my own, so I gotta get through.
The SPS1 game, a game made for pro gamers, receives Esports Review, a camera review that showcases everything done in this amazing software to transform its camera unit to the best possible. Sit tight as I give you the pro review of everything about the cameras present in the SPS1 game, a Ppsspp software like no other. The first camera on review here is the broadcast camera, a new camera that gives a stunning perspective of entrance cutscenes, as you can see here. The most important feature of the broadcast camera is its live television broadcast view of the entire pitch and gameplay, and also it supports 100% fixed cursor and gives you a full control of the players and your gameplay during attacks or in defense. One thing about this review is how we captured the real-life scenarios or parts of stadiums and how realistically we were able to build this into the SPS1 game to make it look as realistic as possible, and that's really amazing. And as the game starts, you can see that cursor perfectly placed on top of your players to give you that high level of control of your gameplay in attacks and in defense, transforming all we thought we knew about Ppsspp programming. One important feature of the broadcast camera is its close-on view of players at the top side of the screen and its flat ground live broadcast television view of the entire stadium, including the outboards. And when you try to lob the ball or give a true pass in the air, it gives a slow motion capture of the ball in the air, and that's really amazing. The next camera on review here is the Esports camera. The Esports camera is actually the widest camera running on the SPS1 game, and most importantly gives an amazing capture of pretty much cutscenes, as you can see here. It's not zoomed too much, but just actually realistic. It gives a close-on capture of the crowd as the players enter into the pitch, and during gameplay it gives you that wide top view capture of the entire pitch, and that gives an extra dimension to your gameplay both in attack and in defense. There's sometimes this close capture of players as they line up, and that gives you an excellent, amazing view of the players before the start of the match. Wow, can you just take a look at those next generation kids here? And just in case you're wondering if these are Ppsspp default cameras, no, they are not. These are new reprogrammed, recoded softwares that supports cameras featuring 100% fixed cursor, wide perspective of the stadium that gives you more realism, and then more control of your players in a realistic way. This is so amazing, and we have to show you that these cameras are coded right inside with the names mentioned here into the software. The Esports camera, just like the broadcast camera, gives a closer perspective of players at the top of the screen. Both gives a wider perspective of players or gameplay at the low end of the screen. Both it gives a wider top view of the players and the stadium, and that gives you more control and more view of how to break down defenses and push and attack. Next up is the codenamed Hypermotion camera. By the way, these are just code names to help us create that distinction between the cameras we reprogrammed. They are not really if there's anything called the hypermotion camera, they are just code names. Okay, that's by the way. The hypermotion camera gives a close and realistic view of entrance cutscenes, and also it gives that close capture of players as they line up before the match starts. By comparison, there's actually no difference between the esports camera and the hypermotion camera. But with respect to camera angles, the hypermotion camera gives a very wide camera angle view of the entire stadium, more than any camera ever reprogrammed in the SPS1 game, and that's spectacular, and that gives it that name and that difference between other cameras we reprogrammed. Lovely night sky here in the St. Louis Stadium, which is one of the best redesigned stadiums in the SPS1 game. And just before the match starts, I'd like to tell us that the hypermotion camera features the best ball dynamics motion capture of the entire stadium in all the cameras designed for the SPS1 game. The downside of the hypermotion camera is the blackout removal. It has the lowest blackout removal in all the cameras designed for the SPS1 game. And when we talk about blackouts, we mean those black screen textures that hover around the edges of the screen during gameplay or during the entrance capture of the players. It's so enjoying to watch how the hypermotion camera changes its angle of motion capture at all points around the pitch. It's really amazing. The next camera on review here is the live television camera. Yeah, as the name implies, it gives a live television broadcast of the entire stadium and of the pitch. It also supports an excellent view of entrance cutscenes, as you can see here. It's more like the broadcast camera in so many ways, but the live TV camera gives a much higher top perspective of gameplay or the entire pitch as you start the match. It also gives a wider view of players as they enter into the pitch, and not just like the close view of the esports cameras when the players are to line up before the match starts. And as the camera spans, you could see how it captures the sky and the stadium, the rooftop, the players in such an amazing way in the light. We kind of took time to show you how the Nextgen crowd in the SPS1 game looks like. I mean, this is nothing we have ever seen in Ppsspp programming. This is just insane. The crowds are realistic. The stadium color rendering is just done in an excellent way to make sure that this captures the real nature of the environment. The live TV camera actually is just a middle point camera between the broadcast camera and the esports camera. It actually gives a more top view or perspective of the pitch, just like the esports camera, but at the same time gives a more flat ground capture of the entire pitch, just like the broadcast camera. And more like the broadcast camera, it supports that stunning motion capture of the ball in the air. I mean, the ball feels like it slows down in the air a little bit, just like you can see there. And it zooms out a little bit to give you a wider perspective of the entire stadium. I think that gives it an edge over the broadcast camera as to how it is able to zoom out during lob balls or ball exchange from one corner of the stadium to the other. For me, when it comes to ball dynamics or motion capture of the ball in the air, the live TV and the broadcast camera comes out on top. But the live TV camera gives you more edge to gameplay than the broadcast camera. And once again, we edge closer to the two best cameras ever designed on any Ppsspp game. The Unreal Engine 5 cameras, the first of its kind to be coded in any Ppsspp or PS2 game. Esports version, the Unreal Engine 5 matrix camera will take you closer to almost 100% elimination of blackouts in the whole system. Blending itself with the features of the broadcast, the live TV and the esports camera, the Unreal Engine 5 matrix camera will give you the best of the three worlds of the best cameras ever designed on a Ppsspp game. The close capture of players during cutscenes eliminates all possible blackouts and takes you closer to your favorite players as never before. The stadium zoom levels of the Unreal Engine 5 matrix camera makes it possible for the camera to filter out most of the blackouts present in the previously reviewed cameras. Without the zoom codes of the Unreal Engine 5 cameras, the esports camera would not be efficient in its blackout management due to the enormous blackout bugs present in Ppsspp softwares. And as we draw closer to kickoff, we can't wait to watch how the Unreal Engine 5 matrix camera encapsulates all the features of previous cameras discussed into one piece to create the best camera for gameplay ever. The Unreal Engine 5 matrix camera is actually coded deep into the software to make it easier for gamers and fans alike to differentiate between the two versions of the Unreal Engine 5 cameras developed for the SPS1 game and also for other versions of Ppsspp and Ppss2 games. Just like other cameras, the Unreal Engine 5 matrix camera gives a close-on view at the top end of the screen and a wider view at the lower side of the sidelines. But with respect to the live TV camera, it does not give that wholesome feeling about the ball in the air. But on the other hand, it cancels out the blackouts which could have been possible due to the wideness of the camera view, and that makes it more efficient in blackout management. Well, yet again, the last, the first, perfection, the most excellent camera ever designed for a Ppsspp and a Ppss2 game, the Unreal Engine 5 Ultra camera outclasses all cameras ever designed in realism and gameplay as far as Ppss2 is concerned. The only camera that transforms the gameplay system of the Ppsspp engine into a next-generation gameplay system. A camera that seemingly alters the positioning system of Ppsspp and Ppss2 players, leading us to a new way of understanding how the game should be played, not how it is played. Featuring extra-wide cutscenes and view of the stadium and the players alike. A camera that took 2 years in development and perfection. Endless trials, failures, passes, codes has led to the development of the next generation camera system for Ppsspp and Ppss2 games. A close camera that captures entrance cutscenes like an extra-wide camera, but still renders the stadium view and the gameplay view as wide as possible as the esports camera in corresponding scenarios. And as the game kicks off, you'll be amazed at the dynamics of the motion capture of the Unreal Engine 5 Ultra camera and how it manages to keep you in focus with the overall dimension of the gameplay pitch. The Unreal Engine 5 Ultra camera, as coded deep into the software, features a 100% fixed cursor, a 360-degree spin motion capture of every gameplay around the stadium. This leads to almost 100% blackout removal in every stadium ever designed by Konami. A camera that supports a next-generation ball passing angles and ball shooting angles, leading us to the next-generation possessive game, the tiki-taka game, and the most advanced attacking football gameplay ever witnessed on Ppsspp and Ppss2. Whatever you know about gameplay with other cameras will not be the same when using this camera. The Unreal Engine 5 Ultra camera has the second best motion capture of the ball in the air. It is the best software that showcases all weather effects developed for the SPS1 game. And as we draw closer to the end of this camera review, we can't wait to get the response it deserves from all gamers across the globe about the Unreal Engine 5 Ultra camera, the best and the most advanced camera ever designed for a PS2 game. Get your copy today, play with friends and family, have fun, and God bless.